Are you an artist looking for a way of making money? You should try Redbubble. But what is Redbubble? It's basically a site where you can upload your art and they'll print it into products and sell them. And if someone buys something with your art, you receive a part of the money. They have a wide selection of products you can slap your designs onto, including stickers, t-shirts, phone cases, shower curtains. There are a lot of options. So, it seems like a great deal. And it is. But don't expect to receive a livable wage through this. If you have no platform, it will be hard for people to even see your art there. It's a very competitive website. There are a ton of designs the clients can choose from. So don't go into it expecting to become rich. Think about it as a passive income stream for a couple extra dollars in the end of the month. Especially if you live in a developing country like me, dollars are very, very valuable. So now I'm gonna draw some things to put in Redbubble and I'll take you through the entire process. I'll show you some of the sketches I've made. So these were the first ones. I basically just want to draw bunnies. And today I'll be drawing profession bunnies, farmer bunnies, painter bunny, all bunnies. I don't know which ones I'll draw today, but I plan on doing all of them eventually. There's just one thing I'm conflicted about, and that is the style I'm gonna draw, because there's this one that I showed you, but then I drew them a little differently and I also liked it. And now I don't know which one I prefer. I think I'll go for the first one because I think it's cuter, but I really like the second one too. We'll see what I'll do.
So the first important thing to keep in mind is the size of the canvas. For this one I used 3000 by 3000 with 300 dpi. Another important thing is the color profile. There's RGB and CMYK. As this is going to be printed, I have to use CMYK. As of the process of the drawing itself, I started with a rough sketch and then tried to clean it up before doing the line art. I decided to go for the firefighter bunny, even though I'm terrible at drawing hats. One thing that I think it's really important is that you don't avoid drawing things that you think you cannot draw, because then you never learn how to draw them. So just do it. It may be bad, but you can fix it later. I think my favorite thing about this design are the little boots I gave him. It really adds to his silhouette. Another thing I drew is the hose, and I just made it wrap behind his body because I didn't want to draw a truck attached to it, so it just connects to nothing, but I think that's fine. I also decided to redraw his face. I think I wanted to look a bit more grumpy. I actually think it looks cuter like that, so good thing I did it. Then of course I grabbed the liquify tool and just tried to fix everything like I always do. Don't underestimate the power of liquify, it's a real lifesaver. And then I decided to draw a fire behind him because I think it makes the overall design more interesting, both for stickers and t-shirts and pretty much everything. Then I go to the next step, that is line art. Probably the most tedious part of drawing, but I have learned to appreciate it. A good line art really does make a difference, and I do think that the more I do it, the better I get. It kind of applies to everything, but especially to line art. Here you can see me struggling to outline the hat, because I kind of don't care that much about the form during the sketching phase, but once I get to the actual outlining, then I realize that it looks very wrong and then I have to fix it. But thank God I'm a digital artist and not a traditional one, so I have some tools at my disposal. I really couldn't do this with a pen. Another thing you realize here is that I don't really care about the sketch during the outline phase. Like, if I feel it's wrong, I'll just redraw it over it. Like, look at the arm, it's completely different from the sketch, but that's okay. Try to find what works for you. If you need to do another sketch over it before the line art, that's okay too. But if you feel like you can just fix it while lining, then great. So now we can see another one of my mistakes, that I drew the lines on his feet too thin compared to the rest of the drawing, so I just had to go over it. It was boring fixing it, but I'm glad I did it. Next, I decided to add some shadows to the line art itself. This is a stylistic choice that I quite enjoy making, and I thought it would look good in this series of drawings. If you want to do something like this, it's very important that you study form, because if you don't and you don't really know where to put the shadows, it will look very off. So start with the basics, draw in shades like cubes, spheres, cones and stuff like that, and you'll get there. And if you hate doing line art, I actually recommend you try to do this. This made line art so much more enjoyable for me. It's also fun to differentiate the materials like this, like I'm drawing the metal here. Metal is very fun to paint, like fully render. You should try it if you haven't. This is kind of off topic, but try to paint a lot of different textures. Not only it will help if you do fully rendered stuff, but also for simple stuff like that. I was only able to cel shade the metal because I've drawn it realistic before. That's kind of a tip that applies to everything. Even if you plan on doing cartoons or very stylized work, try to at least know the basics about realism, because it will for sure help you in whatever you're trying to draw. So with the line art finished, I started the coloring process, picking as few colors as possible, and then I added a gradient map over it so that the colors would look more harmonious together. Then I started laying out some shadows, but I gave up on it. I thought it looked better without them. But I did decide to add some highlights. It just adds a little bit more depth to the drawing. And at last, the fire behind him. I'm gonna let you in my little secret. I have no idea how to draw fire. So I tried a bunch of different things to try to make it look good, but in the end I just decided to make it simple, and I think it was the best choice. And the final steps are color correcting. I added more gradient maps, and then of course exporting it. So I hid the background and exported it as a PNG so it would be transparent.
So now that we have our design, I'll show you how to put it in Redbubble. So you have to make your account. That's pretty easy. Set your things up, and then you'll click on your icon and add new work. You can put your title, tags, and a description. Be wise about your tags. That's how people are going to find your design. Here in background color, you can set the default color to appear in the product. Here I selected a blue. And you can see most designs are in this color blue. So how do you do this? You can see all products here. You can select, enable, and disable the ones that you want or not. Here there are some more complex products that need a bit more attention. I won't make them here right now, but let's edit the shirt, for example. You can change the size, you can change the location here, you can change the styles, align vertically, horizontally, and you can change the preview color that will appear. Apply changes. You can do this for everything here. Here, for example, the drawing is cropped, so I should scale down the image so it fits perfectly. So see what works with your design, what doesn't, and try to be attentive with the clients, so make everything fit right. Don't be lazy in this part. For example, in the phone wallet, this design doesn't work very well, but what I can do is drag it to the side here so that it's only in one side, so it will work better, like this. Some designs have some guides here to help you. This one has, so it makes it easier. After that, there are some settings here. So this is a drawing and digital art. You can choose who will see this work. In case you want it private, you can do it. Is this mature content? No. I have the right to sell this project. The thing is, a lot of people sell fan art here, but you shouldn't do it. You can get in trouble, so be careful. There are a few shows that allow Redbubble to sell fan art of them, so look those up and see if you want to do any of them, but any other work, I'd advise you not do it. Only sell your own creative property here, so you won't have any problems, so let's save work. So it's published. It may take up to 15 minutes to appear, and that's it. I hope this was helpful. I'll put the link to my shop in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. If you're a digital artist and you want some tips, I have a video about it, so go watch it. And if you liked my content, please consider subscribing. And that's it. Goodbye.